Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topper Hatt the Third, at your service. Now let's get down to business for today's podcast. Obviously, you know the title. Let's talk business, right? We're going to be talking about business. We're going to look at what in the whole prime eyesight of Sodor / Norfolk. We have to be realistic. What what does everybody needs, right? It's not wants, it's about the needs, right? From both sides, no conflicts, no nothing, right? A lot of people think it's all about money making, right? We understand it's all about money making. We understand it needs to bring in the money. We need to bring in customers in and bring in the actual customers that don't bullshit online. Now, bullshitters do lie online. Now, the good people will always be honest with you, that's for sure. But you want to catch out the bullshitters. Now, the bullshitters are basically, or BSs as they call them, we have to be realistic. What you see is what you get, right? The North Western Railway Company, the North Norfolk Railway, has a big mistake, right? They lost the greatest asset, which is me, right? They lost the greatest asset, right? Right? In a very predictable minute, right? Or moment in time, right? One song that will hit you all. One Moment in Time by Whitney Houston. Listen to it. It makes more sense than it actually gives. But when it all quiets down wolf, right? The North Norfolk Railway needs or wants something from the community, right? The community will not go to you as the business, right? Because they've seen it. How can you mix business with voluntary? Can't work both ways. So, when the North Norfolk Railway is at its vulnerable point, then they will cry wolf, right? Instantly, because they know they've messed up. They know they, what you call, messed up big time, and then everybody cries wolf, right? If I was in this, if I'm still in this position because I'm really careful of what I'm saying as well, but acknowledging what the community needs, not what just the North Norfolk Railway needs. So I'm trying to balance it out right now to try and put you all correct. We don't want to slip, right? You don't want to slip, right? But we have to acknowledge to the community out there around the globe also to acknowledge that the North Norfolk Railway is off limits right now, right? Everybody's presumably wanting to go on it, right? Because they are either ignoring this podcast, right? The podcasts that I do, or acknowledging, or they already acknowledged the first time and realised it, right? A lot of people will not just go on up onto the platform of the North Norfolk Railway and get what you called being disrespected, right? If you get disrespected, then there's a different kind of board game overall, right? If you get disrespected, get off the premises because you do not want that disrespect, right? When people bullshit online half the time, I try to make it as valid as point to get to, right? We talk about the railway like it needs to be the way it was treated, respectfully, kindly, caring, and understand the value of money is the key element here is the money issue. It all comes back on money, right? They play like the North Norfolk Railway are playing the railway like a model railway system right now, right? Because they've got nothing else to do but go up there and do what they do best, right? What you do, like I said, it's like a pyramid. So You break down everything. So when I say, right, a lot of people up there at the North Norfolk Railway do the complete opposite of what I say, right? Because they want to have that bad reputation on the line, right? That railway line is so really giving you false information from 2019. So you have to work out 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Right? Why do you think I'm putting this nail on a coffin and say to you all, don't go on the North Norfolk Railway? Because I need them to realise everything they earn is not always what you see on paperwork. When you see it on paperwork and you see the employer's name and you see their address, your telephone numbers, etc., you're building what you call a profile, right, of the individual. The first thing they will do, they will look at your strengths and weaknesses, right? Then they turn your strengths into your weaknesses. So they take you to the place where you don't want to work on a North Norfolk Railway, and then they will break your back, hurt your back, make you unwell, make you uneasy, or feel uncomfortable. No, I want you to feel comfortable. So I'm trying to propel that and say, I want you to go up there feeling comfortable, feeling relaxed, chilled, knowing it's going to be okay on the next day and the next day and the next day throughout the whole year. And it goes every year, every month, every day. It's a new day. But the new day for the North Norfolk Railway is always going to be the same as it was before, regardless of the timetables. The prices really have to drop, right? If you really want the customers to go back up there, you have to look realistically. What does he mean by 5 mile journey? Ding, ding, ding. 3 stations, right? And you really have to think about Sheringham, Rayborn, Holt. How much do we charge a customer? Right? You have to be realistic. You know, don't bullshit with them because they will end up saying it's a rip-off. Right? Because that's honesty that comes out of people's mouths, right? Honesty comes first before anything, right? Then, then the railway has the point, right? Left, right, right? They could make a slip up. Then I have to recorrect it, right? To make you realise I'm taking on people's reviews. Respect, right? A lot of people, what they do now, I'm guaranteeing you 100% of the money, right? People don't realise what goes on up there, right? When you're on that platform and you're on that station waiting for the next train to go to Hull or Weybourne or Killingheath, you're ending up thinking, oh, this is a good activity, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I probably agree, right? A lot of people say, oh, I will travel back in time. I said, no, it isn't. There's a lot of things about what you see up there isn't always what you get, right? Because they could be so they're trying to be honest with you in their reviews and they try to acknowledge it, right? But you really have to know that people are going to say, no, rip off because the money at the time or money this, money that, it goes down the line. And people will start to pick up on things, pick up really initially, right? Right? A bad customer service experience a red flag, right? So people are coming back, right? Coming from the north, coming from Scotland, Wales, or England, and they ended up going to that um the North Norfolk Railway, North Western Railway Company, upside down, obviously, as I know it, and then it all adds up, right? You need to start to realise what is the railway gaining this year then you thought they could have done better at. What can they acknowledge to realise they were in the wrong, you are in the right, right? Porters and guards are stuck in the middle, right? They can't do nothing but let it fall, because I'm gonna let it fall to make it re-rise. It's like a phoenix, right? Right, we all take phoenixes, or the birds, or magical birds like the phoenixes, and they always burn in the ashes and rise from the ashes. They go through, when they're born from the ashes, they die in the flames, right? So when that goes from one to the other, it reverses all the time, right? You have to acknowledge that the railway is similar. The railway is going to have that same scenario, pattern, problem. Why? Because every generation is going to have this problem. Why? Because they're going to end up having that sticky situation. Why? I want you to acknowledge when you go on that platform, it's not like a game. It's not a game change. It's not a game changer when you get on there. Oh, you could say to your parents or you could say to your family, say, "Oh, I got a new job at the North Norfolk Railway, and I got this and I got that." And then what happens? Bing, balla, boom. They might change the record and turn you upside down and then boot you out. You know, you've got to be realistic. So, with all that being said and done, what are you seeing that I can see, but you may unfold it right in the tea bag and you might realise, oh shit. And it all comes together, right? But a lot of people do not understand what is realistic up there. When you dealing with the North Norfolk Railway, right, they've been disrespected. Not not the customers have, yes. The employers or the management are bad management makes bad employees. So work it out. It goes that way, chain of command. Right? The customers are getting affected. Right? Right? The newspapers lies to a point. Right? I read between the lines and I get their memo and I pass it on to you. Right? When you want let's talk business, we mean business. We do not bullshit. We get straight to the point and narrow it down for you. Right? If the railway is going to treat you with disrespect, not give you that trust, all that honesty, that's their downfall. Because they left it to what you would call, they're going to leave the railway to what? And I've been trying to pick up the pieces all the time. And every time the railway loses respect, I gain respect because I did not do nothing wrong, nor did my thousand volunteers that worked there beforehand, or the previous generation that taught me everything. So don't say there's no word as such as I can't and say we can recorrect this problem or we can we're going to acknowledge people's reviews, acknowledge what the customer's needs are. What what do you expect from the unexpected? So you have to be realistic. Like if you pay the ticket right for one day and you're only doing it for one time only, fine. But when you're down the line and you're really doing it for the whole week and you're enjoying yourself like a whole week, you will spend more money than the bloody trip from King's Cross all the way to Holt, right? Because that's what they're after. Then you will find out how cocky the North Norfolk Railway is, and then you'll end up realising something's not right. Recorrect that before it gets hot. It's like saying if you were in the kitchen, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, right? Then you want to prioritise that. So realistically, you have to start realising people or the volunteers or the staff at the time will have to make a compromise to say we're going to work on our own because we don't want the management, right? The management are just higher up. They're just writing news articles. Well, let's say false information, false this, false that, everything that, right? And then when you become the vulnerable one, then it becomes their main target, right? When people think about this, they ending up thinking, what is the primary goal? To achieve the ultimate, but get the best results. You want to be acknowledged, but you also want to know that railway hasn't had a best reputation since 2016 to 2019. Then it carried on and on a little bit. The more carried on it's going to go, they're playing the railway like a model railway system at this moment. They don't really care if you enjoy yourselves or not. It's the actual system that you have to look into. It's 5 miles trip, right? There's other railways around the UK that do longer distances, right? They're not always coordinating. What they see is what they get, right? They can't understand the value of money. They don't understand the value of the customers and what their needs are, right? Let me put this in another perspective so you get a better idea, right? The North Norfolk Railway isn't the only attraction in the Norfolk area, or the North Norfolk area for that matter, to go to. You could go to Muckleborough, Wayborn Collection, right? Right? The North Norfolk Railway, I remember these actual words, they really knocked me down a bit because I thought they were going to team up with the Wayborn Collection for World War II. Right? The management at the time were rude, selfish, and cocky. Right? And they tried to acknowledge and say, no, we don't want your support. We don't want your help. Blah, blah, blah. Getting very cocky and rude and selfish. Then they started to target their own, the management target everybody on the platform, narrowing their confidence down, narrow it down right down to the bottom where everybody could be sad and depressed, and everybody then what pees you off more than anything. I think you should know about this person more than anybody else, right? I told you that Devious Diesel has a very bad attitude, right? Who we know as Andrew Mudden, right? Right? His wife is a former NHS nurse. Now, what did I'm going to tell you now is very, very important indeed. You need to realise why have a former NHS nurse on a platform and take everybody out with her colleague Daisy. Now, Daisy was the rudest one of them all, don't get me wrong, we all know she was rude, she was cocky, she was very obnoxious, she was out of place, so was she. So what did they do? They team up. Like a battle against me, alright? Or anyone for that matter. Right? I'm going to take into consideration of all the people that got banned or kicked out of that place. Right? I'm going to acknowledge, as a businessman, I'm going to take responsibility for that. Right? The North Norfolk Railway think they got everything cleared up and under the carpet. No. They think they were going to be surprised. What they got now is beneficial. No. I'm trying to help people the best way I can at the moment. Right? I can only acknowledge what I see, I get. Right? I don't want the North Norfolk Railway to go downhill, nor does anyone else don't. But the bad reputation down that line You don't want to go on that platform, pay the money, and enjoy one day or 1 week or 1 year, whatever, and then realise special events come along, the prices are doubled. Right? When I look at the prices today and look at everything, and plus the people around me, they don't worry about me, right? Because they know that I'm the only person that can solve all your problems. Acknowledge that you've got a biggest problem there. You just have to acknowledge that the management of today, the management that was, and the management that would have been, or management that's still continuing, they've got major problems. They've got major. Say, for instance, you've got a bucket, right? In that bucket is their bloody load of problems, right? Not my problems, it's theirs. So what happens? That bucket is so full of water and shit and everything else under the radar, and then bang, why? Because there's a load of BS in that bucket, and it's filling up nicely. Let it rise, right? While I rise up with all the empty bucket, with less shit and water and everything else, I've got it cleared out, right? I may be the lightest bucket in the world right now, but I'm also taking care of every problem at one at a time. I don't rush. I prioritize. I make sure everybody stays calm, cool, and collected. So when you look at people's problems, or I look at the community's problems, or the customers' problems, I acknowledge in everyone else's problem. But when you BS on the internet, or BS on Facebook, or BS on this, BS on that, or let's say the North Norfolk Railway PLC are really well known to know how to spam the internet very badly, right? They are real bad spammers, and when they do, they say, "Oh, we like this because they're advertising this and that and that," and then when you add it all up, all the information comes back to me. Why? Because the customers are giving you feedback on your day, your week, your month, or your special attractions. You need to realize what, why is nothing. The, the, the question on everybody else's mind is what is going to, what is going to, what are they going to do about it? Nothing, because they think they solved the problem there and then. They're not going to say sorry or say that and make you realise they slipped up, they made a mistake, they made all of this, they've got all this cockiness and rudeness and selfishness and misleading issues and all of that. Then they say, right, cut it out, right? I know every move you're making right up to where everything unfolds nicely. But you got, as the North Norfolk Railway is standing right now, it doesn't deserve its customers. It doesn't deserve the reviews at the moment, right? What you need to realise, the the more it operates on the internet, right? The North Norfolk Railway as a whole, right? The website, the Facebook, their own you. Let's take it down to the line where I am going to be talking about business for the next 20 minutes or so, because I want you to be acknowledged of understanding that they are in the wrong, Suffolk is in the right, doing everything right by the books, near enough, right? You have me trying to sort things out. You have a lot of stuff to work on, right? The customers want something better than what you're offering them for the money that you're asking for, right? But you have to look in reality and smell the coffee and realise prices don't add up with the attractions that we got. They don't often, or events that we have doesn't add up with the prices. So you have to acknowledge that there is more. than it meets the eye. So when you look and read between the lines of everybody's comments and everything under the radar, you have to look under the radar and say, what? He said this and that and this, and he made a valid point. Don't get me wrong, I'm saying a valid point because I won't lie. Right? The trust and honesty and respect is on me. Right? I'm trying to tell you from right from wrong. What do you do to correct a problem that is bigger than what you can handle? Not at first, but it's there. The solving question, right? Customers' complaints. They review it as a bad railway, right? Some people are acknowledging it's a great railway, right? What does the bullshitters do that they want to combat on? It's good reviews. Until you actually prove it to establish that you had a good review, right? You have to acknowledge what is there. Are you getting treated with respect? Are you acknowledging that you want some good, some bad, some had that? Depending on who's on the platform, is who I am trying to knock out, right? I got to make sure you get the right respect, the right service, the right price, the right activity that you're enjoying that day. Or when they say something and they want to go forward and forward, right? I'm now going to narrow it down to two ways that you could get out of a sticky situation with the North Norfolk Railway. Now, I'm going to tell you this from now on because I want you to hear this out. There's two organisations that you can actually join, right? That could discount half your price that you're paying for. Because I'm not allowing you to pay out whatever they're asking, right? The best way to cut down the price, right, for your family, for your friends, your connections, your colleagues, what friends, mostly friends or family. I want the community to feel that they can get what their money's worth, right? I don't want you to pay the prices they already set out. The community are paying that prices because they think, oh, it's just for one day. Oh, why? Why pay £74 or £64 or 54, 30, 21, like something like that? Then you ask yourself the biggest question of all: why? Why? You got to ask yourself what a 5 mile trip can do for you. Right? When you're in Rayborn, you could go to the bookshop and you could buy books, etc., etc. They've got their own shop in Sheringham, right? Which I'm gonna make it quite clear. When you're in that shop, right, you can buy whatever you want in there, right? The prices are reasonable and you don't add up anything else, right? The thing is, when you take one thing away from them, it's advertisement, right? The leaflets, the posters, the books relating to them directly, not what I'm about to say, right? Everything they do, right, during the year has a good reputation and a bad reputation job, right? I want you to be acknowledged that their posters are not going to help them or their advertisement is not going to help them. It's just making them worse and worse off. So when they already, like, the whole community around here, where I live, or in Sheringham, or West London, or Cromer, or Norwich, or anywhere else in that area, they acknowledge that it's a railway, right? So what do you do with that advertisement money? Take it off because you don't need it. It's a waste of money. You could use it for online advertisement, not directly in people's eyes in the community because they already established that the North Norfolk Railway is only 5 minutes away from my door or 5 minutes from everybody else's door. Why? Because they acknowledged all of that. So they don't want They don't want the advertisement directly in their own town, like Sheringham, for example. They already know that you're not very far. They acknowledge that you're advertising yourself. The railway's name is very bad. So now I'm going to tell you how to get around this cheaper, to get a cheaper train fare during the year as a membership. Now, a lot of you think memberships are cool, collected, and understanding, right? Now, let's talk about where can I go to get the best deal I can, right? To gain everything, right, you need to prioritize on not the attraction, you coming away from the attraction, right? The North Norfolk Railway has its own membership, right? Which is as nearly a similar price as the adult price to actually gain their membership throughout the whole year, right? That's just for one that's for one, let's say one set of family getting one booklet called the joint booklet, which you can do, and they tell you exactly what's going on throughout the year and month, right? When you read that between the lines and read it in reverse, you get the whole different meaning, right? That's one way out. Now, the other one I was thinking of was the Midland and Great Northern Joint Railway Circle. Now, that does about 15 to £16 a year for nearly one booklet every month, right? But they give you historical information. They're acknowledging the members and everything else. But when you look upside down and look at the old maps upside down and really look at really well, it's called reverse psychology in some aspects. And you're acknowledging that as well. And I am acknowledging to you two-way out. Right, don't go to the North Norfolk Railway premises themselves because they will charge you more. So if you go the opposite direction to go to the M&GN circle and the society as well, they can also help you decrease your price a little bit because you're paying more for them to say, look, yeah, you could go on a volunteer, you could go to train spotting areas, you could go take photographs of the railway and acknowledge there is always a way out of all that toxic on that platform, right? The community has to think, which way would I go? Would you go for all three or, or go just that direction? You've got society, a circle, and then you've got the North Norfolk Railway on top, right? A lot of the time, you have to be realistic to realise the North Norfolk Railway is too pricey as one attraction, but the management will not give you any details on their society unless you look it up on the web, which I could probably provide the link for at the bottom. Right? The society has their own membership, but they link to the North Norfolk Railway because it's cheaper. Right? So they tell you what they offer, boom, 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 going down the line. Right? I don't want no community to feel that they've been pressurized. I'm giving you options to get out of the biggest, baddest system in the known history to realize what can I do to make me, as the customer, how would you feel to feel that you got something there to offer them than just the price itself? So when you think about how much the railway is costing you, right, you have to think of the alternatives. So you need to think, I could go to another attraction and go there and pay cheaper, or I could go to two organisations like the M&GN Circle or the society itself and try to help myself. So you got the M&GN Circle, which provides the actual historical information, but then you have the society, that connects with the North Norfolk Railway, and your price will be reduced. Why? Because the price is cheaper to go with a society than it is paying on the door or paying online on the North Norfolk Railway PLC, because you're ending up paying the full price there enough. Oh, they might say, oh, we give you a discount. BS to that, and then go with a society where that could be included. Right? So you're ending up saying there's a lot of ways of getting out of the system, a bad system. Right? So when you look into it and realise why we got to talk about business, it's because I want you as a customer or regular, I don't want you to feel you've been cut out of everything, right? At first, a lot of people did not realise what they were getting. The North Norfolk Railway has lost a great asset, which is me, right? It always had to be me because they're the one they boot me out while my other members of my employees and volunteers were all booted out, right? The volunteers felt really angry and frustrated, and I acknowledge that, and rather feel sorry for myself. Why? Because I want you as a as the former employee and a volunteer that you felt angry because you were being rude at or being depressed at or they push you to the edge when you can't work on there because of bad management and everything else. And now I'm trying to give you an easy way out of it, which will help you. And I want you to acknowledge there's other ways of acknowledging the railway is not going anywhere. It's just a bad reputation on them. So what do? You get smart. You get clever. Get smart and realize there's other options available. Right? We, for me, it's like trying to help you to from a bad mistake that happened in 2019 and 2016 onwards. You have to acknowledge what they were doing at the time, acknowledge what you could have done when you left the premises, right? The badges, everything they changed was a load of BS. They only done it just to get more money out of people. They done that just to get you back on the railway. They try to get you to do things that you enjoy, but you're not enjoying it at the moment because you've got something that's been pulled. Let's just say a string that's been pulled, right? I'm not pulling you, right? I'm telling you and respectfully telling you there's other options available, right? The other one that I do want to bring up while I'm in this podcast, while I'm at it, is that there's options, right? We know there's the M&GN Society, we know there's the M&GN Circle. They're both organisations, but they care about the system, right? Then you have to realise there's another one in play. The answer is yes. And the other one is Whitwell Station, Whitwell and Reetham Station, which they also have their own membership. So I have noticed about their car parking issues, and I thought, okay, a pound for this, a pound for that. I could understand it if you were doing it for Marriott's Way Walk when you're walking on the path like that, or acknowledging and understanding that I don't approve to pay for my own parking, right? There's other ways and means to get round it, to acknowledge that the parking system in Whitwell and Reetham Station, as example, is another problem. I will have to personally say I'm not paying that because acknowledging that it's £1, it's already included. All the volunteers get free access because I want you to realise it's only for people that aren't volunteers or acknowledging that the customers are not willing to pay £1, but they will just have, but the customers that go to Whitwell and Reefham Station will end up realising, okay, I want it to be acknowledged what is unfolded, right? I'm not paying a £1 car parking spot, right? Because I paid my £15 a year membership with Whitwell and Reefham Station. So I only come nearly once or twice or 3 times a year because I acknowledge that I care about that station more than anything. That may be one station, but it has a big heart. But with that parking thing put in place, that could give them a little bit of problems, right? So when you really look at it, right, there's 3 options. You've got the M&GN Society, you've got M&GN Circle, and you've got Whitwell and Reefham Station. 3 things that can prioritise it all combined, right? People will respect you at the Whitwell and Reefham Station because it's a standalone station. The North Norfolk Railway is a 5 mile trip, right? The respect the North Norfolk Railway once had is gone. It's totally gone. You can't change it, right? So I'm giving you 3 options that Whitwell and Reefham Station is a big vital key as well because they will help you because they only one station. They could, £1 doesn't make a difference for a lot of people, but in my opinion, I said, look, I'm already a volunteer because what I do is personal and private for that station. So I really have put my guns in and said, look, I pay my membership every year. Why? Because there's more to me than meets the eye. So when it acknowledges it, right, I'm not going to tell you about that type of side of private life, right? But I want you to acknowledge there's a three-way out. You've got the North Norfolk Railway basically on a pedestal right now and ready to explode. Excuse my French, but there's a way to explain it all. You don't want to pay those prices. Their reputation is dropping, and they acknowledge it. The management will never acknowledge the mistake they do. This is the slip ups that I'm catching every day. Not because I don't go up there, it's because I've been acknowledged the way they're acting, the way they're travelling, the way they're doing. I don't want the customers to feel bad because there's other options available, but you're not looking up the right direction. So I will help you to get where you need to go, right? There's other options available. We have to acknowledge that. But when you're at the North Norfolk Railway, I don't want you to pay those type of prices. There is a way out of that which can help you and everything else. If the management start to get really cocky and really acknowledge that, I'm going to acknowledge there's always a way out to get the respect you want. I want you to be the people that need a way out. For people that got booted, been rude at, then everything else, there's always 2 other options, right? To acknowledge for people that used to work on that railway, you have my deepest sympathy in every angle, but the management will not give a shit. So, in layman terms, they're running that railway down to the ground. So, let it play out, or all I've done is provide you with 3 options to get your way out. And it's acknowledging that to make it fair on you. It's not a game. This is a way of saying we all are a family to a point, but the North Norfolk Railway will never be family until they correct their problems. So the prices is one, and acknowledging what other alternatives you've got in front of you. I'll be providing the links at the bottom of the screen for you and acknowledging it and making it self-aware to make you realise there is more options available. But like I said, I have contacts on the inside that know things and I get the memo. I don't BS. Alright? So I want you to be acknowledged in every angle to know that you're about to get a miracle on a lifetime. Right? To get out of a bad system is what the North Norfolk Railway is getting. But you could get a substitute on one of them so you're able to get the price cheaper when you go on the platform. Because you may be paying yearly for them when it's like saying, okay, he's right, this person's paid this month or whatever. If they get cocky, if the management gets cocky, then I'm going to be cocky on them because I don't like rudeness from them. I don't want to see that railway go down under. No way would I ever. But I have to make sure you are getting the respect you want. I want to make sure that you should have some decency when you were booted out. This is where I always say you have my greatest sympathy, but I feel sorry for you lot because you're the ones that are getting punished as well at the same time. So I'm acknowledging the management's mistakes. I'm acknowledging there's other options available, and I want that to be acknowledged. So the North Norfolk Railway is not just one option. You've got Whitwell Station as well. You've got the M&GN Circle. You've got the M&GN Society. They're all linked. Regardless of that Whitwell and Reetham Station is standalone station, it still stands on its 2 feet, right? But they're not travelling 5 miles, that's for sure. But the other thing is knowing the know-how, right? And making a self-aware system to know that you need something and they can provide it. But you just got to acknowledge what they are giving you when they give you a little leaflet to say this is what you will get, blah blah blah, all of that details in black and white. Read it between the lines, read it backwards also to understand everything that's truthful. Right? To acknowledge the prices they're doing right now at the North Norfolk Railway are unacceptable. Right? They have to acknowledge the right from the wrong on that one. So there are 3 options to get out of that, right? So you've got the M&GN Circle, and you've got the M&GN Society, and then you've got Whitwell and Reetham Station. All 3 of those. And we will welcome you with open arms. But with the North Norfolk Railways Department side of it, with the Society and the Circle is a separate entity as well, because they do it with all past tense information and their members. So then the Society, you're helping the B12, you're helping Hazel, as I call her, and then you're acknowledging that you got wine on there too. Don't get me wrong, it's all there, black and white, and then acknowledging that you, the whole thing is coming into play. So when you really want really a good business set down, you got this and this and this to go full back onto. I don't like to pay car parking spot much as anyone else does, but it's there for a reason. But I want you to understand there's more. There's more to take on board. So if you feel like you can't afford that price that you can't really budge, go for the 3 alternatives: the M&GN Circle, the Society, and then you've got Whitwell and Reetham Station. Thank you very much indeed.